Do you guys remember the fires in LA? The ones in the Palisades? In the Palisades. Well, guess what? They just captured the suspect. Apparently, it's a 29-year-old dude. Yeah, dude, super young. They caught him in Florida. Look, before I share the video, don't forget to subscribe. If you don't know who I am, I'm Efren, fitness professional, and I deliver news, current events, and health and fitness tips. Let's watch the video.
I take you to California right now because just moments ago, officials there gave an update into January's Palisades fire and their investigation. Let's listen into what they had to say.
We are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings.
A single 29-year-old dude did all of that damage. The craziest thing about this incident is that the insurance companies didn't deliver. And you know, the Palisades, it's like this uppity foo-foo area in LA. This is so insane, dude.
The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison. The defendant was arrested yesterday on a federal criminal complaint near his Florida residence, and he's expected to make his initial appearance today in the federal court in Orlando, Florida. I stress that the complaint contains allegations and every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it. And we're going to put that up on the
Whoa, this is crazy.
screen here once we get that going. The allegations are, there it is. That's from his ChatGPT. That's an image he produced a few months before the fire started. It shows the city being burned there. The allegations are further supported by the defendant's cell phone, his false statements to law enforcement, and his behavior during the Lockman fire, which the defendant is charged with maliciously starting shortly after midnight on New Year's Day of this year, and which eventually became the Palisades fire.
Imagine for the people in the Palisades how they started the year. It must be awful. And what's worst is that the insurance that they paid was for nothing. The insurance companies didn't deliver. They did not fix their homes, which is completely unacceptable. Please read the fine print whenever you sign or whenever you decide to buy insurance for your home, because it's insane how they get you. These people paid money for many years, and when the time came for their investment to flourish, the insurance companies didn't do anything.
Late last New Year's Eve, Rinderknecht returned to Pacific Palisades after working the evening shift as an Uber driver. 2 of his passengers told law enforcement that he appeared agitated and angry that night. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, Rinderknecht parked his car and tried and failed to contact a former friend. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire. The defendant had listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire. 12 minutes into the new year, environmental sensing platforms indicated that a fire had started. It took the defendant several tries to contact 911 to report the fire. He fled the scene in his car, but turned around after passing fire engines driving in the opposite direction to fight the fire. While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene. Although firefighters suppressed the blaze,
That's so insane, isn't it? He wanted a memory for what he was about to do or for what he did. That's freaking awful. True sociopath.
the fire continued to smolder and burn underground within the root structure of the dense vegetation. So that fire started on January 1st, and it smoldered underground for about a week until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground.
It was a 7-day blaze. 7-day blaze. That's freaking insane.
Became known as the Palisades Fire, one of the most destructive wildfires in Los Angeles City history.
Whoa.
Law enforcement got to work and by January 24th had identified and interviewed the defendant. During his interview, he lied about where he was when he first saw the Lockman fire, claiming he was near the bottom of a hiking trail. Geolocation data for the 911 calls showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew. As the world watched in horror as the Palisades fire burned,
It's insane how technology can track everything that you do. It's quite unbelievable.
businesses cannot be rebuilt. This arrest, we hope, will provide a measure of justice to all those who were impacted. We're going to do questions at the end, and we're going to get into more detail, but I want to thank the outstanding partnership we had in getting this case to where it's at. Thanks to the work of the ATF and investigative support from both the LAPD and the Los Angeles Fire Department and the U.S. Forest Service for their hard work in this investigation. I'm going to turn it over now to Kenny Cooper, who's the special agent in charge of the ATF Los Angeles Field Office.
And you were just hearing from authorities in LA announcing an arrest in the deadly Palisades fire from earlier this year in January. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Chanel Call now for much more on this. Chanel, I know you were listening in to that news conference. What stood out to you there?
Yeah, a couple of key takeaways here from Bill Saley, who is the acting DA, talking this morning about how officials believe one of the most catastrophic fires in American history started. So, Mugo, they now say the Pacific Palisades fire was intentionally set. They also say they've arrested the person they believe is responsible. So that person we now know has been identified as 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht. Officials say, Mugo, that
Let's see his face.
they believe this person.
Here he is. Guys, I meant to say 29. I know I said earlier 39, but that's what I meant to say. Imagine if you would ever see this person on the street, you would never imagine, oh, that's the guy that started the Palisades fire. You know what I mean?
Started an initial fire on January 1st, so on New Year's Day. They say that fire was mostly suppressed by firefighters, but then embers continued to smolder and burn underground. And then when they saw high winds kick up, it spread, and then that is actually what caused the Pacific Palisades fire. Officials also say, interestingly, that these allegations are supported by
That is so traffic. Oh my God.
digital evidence. They also cited his ChatGPT history today. Now, just to remind you, this fire erupted on the morning of January 7th. It started as a brush fire in the Pacific Palisades, and Mugo, it then grew to 23,448 acres before it was then 100% contained. When we think about the scale of destruction here, it was wide. I mean, 6,800.
Let's look at his ChatGPT art. Look at this, guys. Whoa, that's crazy. And the people there in the middle. Oh my goddess.
Structures were destroyed. 12 people were killed in those fires, and this is the 9th deadliest wildfire
12 people, guys. Oh my God.
in state history, Mugo. As for what happens next here, the accused, he's been charged with felony destruction of property by means of fire, and if convicted, that carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years in federal prison with up to 20 years possible.
All right, Chanel Call, thank you so much for that report.
If you're thinking about starting
If he's 29 right now, by the time that he's out, if he is given the maximum sentence, he would be 49. That's not too bad. But I mean, he caused the death of 12 people and burned thousands of buildings, dude, like 1,000 buildings. I honestly think that 20 years for the amount of damage that he did and the harm and the deaths is nothing. He literally changed the lives of so many people who didn't deserve their lives to be changed. It's so awful. Anyway, so if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.